Hi, guys. I want to welcome you to another episode of Derek's Epic Kingdom. Now, it's been almost a month since I've uploaded something, and my main excuse basically for not uploading is crappy sound. I do have an okay mic, and I have a lapel mic, like I told you. But I really right now with school, I really don't want to record something and have to edit it, because editing can take a while. So, just like one of my previous videos, I was talking about, a quick video. And yeah, remember that quick video? Yeah. Um but this time, I do want to make another quick video here, a vlog, but it's gonna be not so serious. So please don't take it seriously, all right? Today we're gonna give some advice, okay? And you're just gonna love this advice and you can share it with the rest of the world, okay? And again, remember, this is a joke, so don't take it seriously. Thank you. Okay, so now it's time to share some words of wisdom with you guys. All right? Words of wisdom. Okay, so I was reading my Twitter feed, so reading about some information that other people post, and it shows up in my timeline. You guys know how Twitter works, right? Okay, that's good. That's what Twitter does. You follow a bunch of people, or they follow you, and you read their nonsense, right? Well, this is going to be like a tweet, basically, but you're going to actually hear and see me talk and say what I would normally tweet. But instead of just me making up an idea, I'm going to respond to something, all right? Now, I'm not going to read people's tweets, but I'll tell you what I did read. Basically, I read something about spoiling a broth, right? And so, I want to ask you guys, what do you think that means to spoil the broth, all right? Now, man, I keep on playing with my hair. I gotta stop doing that. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, spoiling the broth. What do you guys think it means to spoil a broth? Okay. So let's take a physical example of how to spoil a broth, okay? So let's say you're making ramen, top ramen. It's one of, college students' favorite food besides pizza. Maybe it's made by Munaret or whatever that company is, but everyone knows it's top ramen. It's cheap. It sells from a 99 cents a pack. Maybe it's $1.25 at some stores. I don't know. All I know, it's pretty much a college food besides pizza. All right, let's say you're making some ramen, right? And it comes time to actually put in the packet, right? And you know what the packet is? It's that little sugar stuff that you actually put inside a pot that's boiling with water and has your ramen noodles in it, right? Okay, so now when you actually mix it in the hot water with the ramen, then you get something known as the broth, right? Okay, now how do you think you're gonna spoil that broth? Well, you spoil the broth basically by putting something inside the broth that would not normally match with it, okay? So, but it can be confusing sometimes because there are some things that you would be surprised, actually, because you would think, "Oh, dude, that sounds so gross." But now this is a real part for 1 second, okay? I'm gonna be real. There are some condiments actually that may actually taste good, and you might actually want to try it, actually. Um, One of the first condiments is known as ketchup. All right? So, when you put ketchup into your ramen, what does it taste like? Does it taste good or does it taste bad? Now, there are some Asian companies that make make this type of ramen that's known as kimchi ramen. Okay, if you don't know what kimchi is, it's basically a very not very spicy, but it's pretty spicy cabbage. It's not exactly fermented or anything, but it's just, it's spicy and it doesn't sit right with everybody, okay? So they just mix that stuff and they make a ramen out of it, okay? So let's say you put ketchup into your ramen, right? Okay. Maybe it actually will taste good. All right? But there are some things you absolutely do not want to do to your broth that will just totally mess it up. Okay? Now, you might put a lot of things. You may put meat. And actually, if you put meat in, it actually will taste good. That's what you want to do. Okay? But what you don't want to do is put in something that's not a meat or something that you drink. Okay? And that's a lesson today from Derek's Epic Kingdom is when you make a broth, do not mix it with things you drink. Okay? Anything, don't put anything except for water. Okay? You can add water because you boiled water in the first place. But if you tried to boil orange soda or orange crush or grape crush, what do you think's going to happen? When you put in the sauce packet, what's going to happen to your broth? Well, the chicken broth will not mix well with the grape soda. Okay? And that doesn't just go for broth. That goes for regular pasta too, okay? So if you take some vermicelli, all right? Now if you take vermicelli and you mix it with something like let's say ketchup, it might actually taste good. Okay? It's different, right? But it actually may taste good. But let's think of something that probably would not match. Exactly. It's the stinking Pepsi, all right? So what you don't want to do is take a bunch of pasta and use Pepsi Cola or Dr. Pepper as your sauce. Because it's just going to mix things up even worse, okay? So what else do you think would not mix, that would not taste good in your broth? It would totally mix up your broth. That's right. You guessed correctly. I'll be right back in a second. You do not want to put Van shoes in your broth. You know why? Because they would not taste good. I mean, just think, you have this, it's somewhat stinky. No, it's actually pretty clean, actually. But let's say you took a stinky shoe and you put it in the broth. People will hate you, right? Right. So, that's my funny wisdom for today. You don't want to put a shoe in the broth because it will totally screw it up, and you're gonna end up you probably won't end up in the hospital, but you're gonna totally have a gag reflex, and you totally will want to throw up. Okay, so you heard it from me. So hopefully you will not make the mistake of using Pepsi Cola or Pepsi or Dr. Pepper as your sauce are taking the Pepsi and mixing it into your ramen broth, chicken broth, I don't know, clam chowder broth, okay? Definitely don't want to throw up in it because that's the worst thing you can do, all right? And actually, unfortunately, it's happened to me a long time ago when I was a kid. I ruined the broth by throwing up into it. I'm sorry if you were trying to eat dinner, ladies and gentlemen, but that's definitely one thing you want to not do. Throw up into your clam chowder because you'll never, ever, ever be welcome there again. Well, maybe you will be, but I actually did that. So, lesson learned. Lesson two, learn. Don't. Well, the first lesson is don't put a shoe in the broth and don't use Pepsi. Second thing is don't throw up in your food, okay? It's gross. And unfortunately, yeah, it started out like a joke and I didn't want you to take me seriously, but that actually did happen. I actually did throw up into my clam chowder. Now, a lot of people are probably going to hate me for that in the comment section, you know. You're like, you threw up in your clam chowder, Derek? Yes, I did, okay. And now, okay, so let's go back to more pathetic wisdom here, or you want to call it smart wisdom? Okay. All right, so mixing the broth, okay? Does anyone have any ideas of what mixing the broth could be, okay? Just think about it for a second. We talk about physical stuff, so let's think of some silly things here. Well, I can't think of anything silly, but I can think of something serious. Basically, you know, let's say you're at I don't know, a party, you know, and you know, everyone's having fun. You can define fun by whatever means you want to, right? And there's just this one Dorkosaurus who just screws everything up. I mean, that could be spoiling the broth, but you know, that's not really funny. No, that's pretty boring. Um, Let me think if I can think of anything on the spot about spoiling the broth here. Um, well, um, ah, yes, yes, yes. When you're in the classroom, okay? And if you hear a little kid, you might want to shut this off, okay? Um, so if you're under 10, please turn this off now, but um when you're well, I'll try to make it appropriate, okay? For all ages. Basically, when you're in class, don't mention about the word. I can't say it because I'm a PG. I'm a PG type of guy, but don't say anything related to body parts, okay? Because really, you know, if they're talking about something about, you know, noodles or noodles, a stupid ramen thing again. But let's say if they're talking about some argumentation about, you know, voting or something, and you randomly say feet, you know, that's exactly what means spoiling the broth. Well, unfortunately, I think I spoiled the broth because I couldn't think of anything funny. Therefore, I really did spoil the broth, okay? Yeah, I tried to think of something funny on the moment, but I really couldn't. Therefore, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I truly spoiled the broth for you, okay? Wow. Yes, that's it. I spoiled the broth because I tried to be funny and it didn't work out. But, so let that be a lesson learned too. Um, if you don't always try to be funny, just, let things naturally happen. But even if you're trying to make a channel, you don't always have to be funny. And in fact, it's not always good to always be funny. Every once in a while, it's good to be serious. But definitely one thing you still don't want to do is cook with Pepsi Cola, okay? So that's the only thing that you're going to take away from this video here is do not cook with Pepsi Cola, okay? It's not going to work out. You can try all you want to, okay? And you can make a whole lot of excuses to make it actually work for you. But, dude, it ain't just going to work, okay? It ain't going to work. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.